Tonight, let the room around you become quieter, and imagine that the present has slipped behind a curtain of dark velvet. Beyond it, there is candlelight. Not bright candlelight, not the gold of celebration, or the glare of a throne room full of trumpets. Only a low, trembling light along a Tudor corridor, touching carved wood, hanging tapestry, polished floorboards, and the edge of a door that is not fully closed. Somewhere beyond that door, people are whispering. They are not whispering about a battle. Not yet. They are not whispering about a law, a treaty, or a rebellion, though all of those things may one day begin in rooms like this. Tonight, they are whispering about a woman the king noticed. That is all it takes at first. A glance that lasts a little too long. A dance requested twice. A ring given without explanation. Place at a banquet that is suddenly nearer the center of the room. A new gown. A quiet favor to a father, a brother, a cousin. Nothing official, nothing written plainly, but everyone at court understands the language. In Tudor England, the life of a royal mistress was not a fairy tale hidden behind jewels. It was a dangerous position without a title, without clear protection, and often without a safe ending. These women lived close to the warmth of power, and power in Henry VIII's court could feel, for a little while, like sunlight. But sunlight can burn. Favor could lift a family, change a marriage, reshape a court, or help begin a religious earthquake. Favor could also fade without warning, leaving a woman alone with gossip, enemies, and a future someone else had arranged for her. Tonight, we will not tell this story as scandal alone. We will move softly through it, as if walking at night through rooms that remember everything. We will notice the rustle of silk, the scent of beeswax, the hush of the privy chamber, the garden path where words could be exchanged beneath clipped hedges, the fan lowered at just the right moment, the jewel that means more than it says, and the quiet rooms where women waited to learn whether the king's attention would save them, destroy them, or simply pass on. You do not need to remember every name. Let them come and go like figures in candle smoke. Elizabeth Blount, Mary Boleyn, Anne Boleyn, Bessie Darrell, Jane Seymour, Katherine Howard. Women who accepted, resisted, endured, rose, vanished, or were remembered only because someone wrote them down by accident. Let your shoulders loosen. Let the room you are in remain safe. The Tudor court is far away. Its dangers cannot reach you here. You are only listening from a distance, through the soft doorway of history. And now, gently, we step into the court of Henry VIII, where every laugh is measured, every bow has meaning, and the king's glance can alter the course of a woman's life. The palace smells of wax, wool, smoke, perfume, and damp stone. Before anyone speaks, the building has already begun telling you where you are. Tudor palaces are not quiet in the modern sense. Even in the hours before a feast, there is movement everywhere. Boots on floorboards, the dull thud of logs being carried, pages hurrying with messages, kitchen boys red-faced from heat, ladies crossing galleries with their skirts lifted carefully from rushes, and servants who seem to appear from walls and vanish before questions can be asked. The air changes from room to room. In the outer halls, it smells of damp cloaks, straw, dogs, leather, and weather dragged indoors. Near the kitchens, it grows thick with roasting meat, herbs, onions, smoke, and the sour edge of spilled ale. Near the Queen's chambers, the scent becomes softer. Rose water, linen, beeswax, dried lavender, and the faint metallic note of jewelry warmed against skin. Near the king's apartments, everything seems heavier, guarded, closer to heat. This is not a still palace from a portrait. It is crowded, noisy, hungry, watchful, and alive. Its beauty is real, but so is its discomfort. Tapestries soften drafts, but hold old smells. Rushes are changed, but never enough. Candles glow beautifully and drip everywhere. Velvet looks rich and gathers dust. The court is a place where splendor and inconvenience live side by side, and everyone pretends the splendor is winning. This is the first thing you notice. Not the jewels, not the music, not the enormous gowns moving through the hall like decorated ships. The smell comes first, because the Tudor court is not a painting. It is a living place. It breathes, it sweats, it eats, it listens. You stand near the wall, where people of uncertain importance learn to stand. Not too close to the center, not so far away that you are invisible. In a court like this, invisibility can be safety, but it can also be failure. Everyone wants to be seen by someone. Everyone fears being seen by the wrong person. The presence chamber glows with motion. Men pass in velvet, fur, slashed sleeves, chains of office, feathered caps, and faces trained into loyalty. Women move more carefully, their skirts wide, their sleeves embroidered, their hair hidden or framed by hoods that can make a face look modest, severe, or impossible to read. Courtier laughs. Another bows. A servant crosses the room with a tray. Somewhere, a musician tests a note and then stops. Every sound has a place. The court is not casual. It pretends to be graceful. But its grace is work. It is a room built from calculation. Who stands near whom? Who speaks first? Who receives a smile? Who is ignored? Whose father has recently gained land? Whose brother has failed abroad? Whose daughter has been placed near the queen? Whose name has begun to travel through the hall after supper? And then the room changes. Henry enters. At this point in his reign, he may still be the young king people want to admire. Tall, broad, athletic, golden in presentation, fond of music, hunting, masks, theology, praise, and the performance of kingship. Later memories make him heavy and dangerous, but the younger Henry could be dazzling. He knew it. The court knew it. The room arranged itself around him as if he were not merely a man, but the source of heat. Conversation softens. People bow, eyes lower, then rise again carefully. No one wants to stare. Everyone wants to see. For a woman at court, especially a young woman of noble or gentle birth, this moment is a test. She must be charming but not forward, graceful but not proud, modest but not dull, visible but not greedy for notice. She has been trained for this without anyone always saying exactly what she was being trained for. A young woman might arrive at court as a maid of honor to the queen. Officially, she serves. She carries messages. She accompanies her mistress. She sews, sings, dances, attends, listens, and waits. Unofficially, she becomes part of the court's living display. Her manners reflect her family. Her beauty may become a bargaining tool. Her wit may attract attention. Her silence may protect her. Her mistake may travel faster than any letter. This is where the story of Mistresses begins, not in a bed training. It also begins in family letters. A daughter at court may be watched by her mother from miles away through instructions written in careful ink. Remember your prayers. Keep near your mistress. Do not speak with too much familiarity. Make yourself useful to noble ladies. Write if any gentleman presses attention too far. Write also if any gentleman of importance shows honorable interest. The contradictions are folded politely into the same page. A father may write less tenderly. He asks who has favor. He asks which men dine near the king. He asks whether the queen appears well. He asks whether any offices may soon open. He asks after the health of a lord whose support he needs. At the end, he blesses his daughter and reminds her to conduct herself in a way that will bring honor to the family. Honor, in such letters, is a word with many rooms inside it. For the girl receiving these letters, court life becomes a double performance. She must serve the queen in public and serve the family's hopes in private. She must report enough to be useful without sounding indiscreet. She must shine enough to justify the cost of her gowns, but not so brightly that her reputation burns. She must not seem ambitious, though ambition is precisely why she has been sent. Girls are prepared long before the king looks at them. In country houses, their mothers and governesses teach them how to curtsy, how to hold their hands, how to dance without seeming eager, how to read a room without moving their eyes too much. They learn music, sewing, prayer, lineage, courtesy, and the difficult art of seeming innocent while understanding danger. The body itself becomes a form of family policy. A daughter at court might gain a marriage. She might gain a patron. She might help a father secure office, or a brother gain advancement. If she catches the king's favor, the whole family may rise. But no one can say that too plainly. It would sound ugly, and Tudor ambition often prefers perfume. So they speak of service, they speak of honor, they speak of being near the queen. They do not always speak of what happens when the king's eyes linger. The king's attention begins quietly. Perhaps he asks a woman's name after a dance. Perhaps he sends a compliment through a gentleman of the privy chamber. Perhaps he notices her singing voice, her sleeve, her laugh, the way she lowers her eyes when everyone else is trying to be seen. The first sign is rarely dramatic. It is a small change in temperature. Other people feel it at once. A woman who has been noticed may find herself invited more often to masques, hunts, and private entertainments. A relative may receive sudden kindness. A debt may be remembered with unusual generosity. A gown may appear, a jewel may be sent. A place near the queen may become a place dangerously near the king. And then the whispers begin. Whispers are the bloodstream of the Tudor court. They move through galleries, gardens, staircases, chapel aisles, kitchens, laundries, and servants' rooms. They pass from ladies to gentlemen, from pages to grooms, from foreign ambassadors to dispatches, from a smile at dinner to a rumor in another country. A court secret is rarely secret. It is only a story waiting for the right listener. The woman at the center hears enough to know. She may feel fear first, or pride, or confusion, or the strange mixture of all three that comes when danger and opportunity wear the same face. The king is not an ordinary suitor. He is law, wealth, violence, reward, attention, and fate gathered into one human body. To be desired by him is to be lifted into a light that can blind everyone around you. Yet some women step toward it. Some are pushed. Some learn to use it. Some refuse as politely as they can. Some survive by disappearing before the light turns cruel. This is the pattern we will follow tonight, slowly, room by room. The mistress as favorite. The mistress as family strategy. The mistress as rival to the queen. The mistress as mother of a child whose blood matters. The mistress as coded message, as rumor, as danger, as memory. And the first woman we meet is remembered with a softer outline than most. Elizabeth Blount, Bessie, as the court called her. Her name does not strike the ear like thunder. It does not carry the same heat as Anne Boleyn, or the same shadow as Katherine Howard. Bessie Blount enters history more gently, as if stepping from a dance floor into a side chamber where the candles are low. She was a young woman at court, a maid of honor to Catherine of Aragon. She could dance. That mattered more than it might seem. Dance in Henry's court was not simply recreation. It was controlled visibility, a body in motion before the court became a statement of grace, health, breeding, and discipline. A girl who danced well could be admired without appearing to ask for admiration. She could be watched under the safe cover of music. Imagine her in the early years of Henry's reign. The court still feels young. The king is still vigorous, still hungry for splendor, still wrapped in the optimism of a new dynasty. Catherine of Aragon is queen, dignified, devout, politically experienced, and burdened already by the pressure that will shape so much of what follows. The need for a surviving male heir. In that world, Bessie catches the king's attention. We do not need to invent a melodrama for her. Her story is powerful precisely because it is quiet. There is no great public rebellion, no crown promised, no revolution built around her name. She becomes Henry's mistress in a way the court can absorb, because royal mistresses are not new, and because the queen is still queen. The arrangement is unofficial, discreet, and yet everyone who matters probably knows. Then Bessie becomes pregnant. This changes everything. In 1519, she gives birth to a son, Henry Fitzroy. The king acknowledges him. That single act turns the child into more than a private consequence. He becomes proof. In Henry's eyes, and in the eyes of many others, that the king can father a healthy boy. If the queen has not given him a surviving son, perhaps the problem is not the king. Perhaps it is Catherine. The thought is cruel, but court logic often is. The baby is small, as babies are. He sleeps. He cries. He is carried. Fed, wrapped, watched, yet around him, adult meaning grows like ivy. He is not legitimate, but he is male. He is not the heir, but he is acknowledged. He is not a prince, but he will be raised near princely possibility. Henry gives him titles later, Duke of Richmond and Somerset. The court sees how high a royal bastard might rise. And Bessie? She does something rare. She steps back, or she is moved back. The difference is difficult to know from this distance. She is married respectably and removed from the center of danger. She does not claw toward the throne. She does not try to become queen. She does not remain too long in the king's immediate orbit. Whether by her own wisdom, by family arrangement, or by court management, she survives the most dangerous part of favor, the moment after it has served its purpose. There is a kind of intelligence in leaving early at court. Ambition is easier to see than restraint, but restraint may save a life. Bessie Blount bore the king a son and did not fall into the abyss that would swallow others. Her son, Henry Fitzroy, lived with royal attention and serious possibility around him, but died young, before the question of his future could become a different history. Bessie fades from the burning center. This is why she matters, not because she shouted, not because she overturned kingdoms, but because her quiet role proved that a mistress could shape the succession without ever wearing a crown. Her body became evidence in the king's mind. Her son became an argument. Her name became the first soft mark in a pattern that would later grow sharp enough to cut through England's church. Marriages, families, and laws. Let the court soften again. Music continues, dancers turn, a candle gutters. The queen sits composed, because queens must be composed, even when everyone is watching to see whether they will break. Bessie moves through the story like a figure in pale silk, noticed, used, rewarded, removed, and remembered only by those who know where to look. After her, The court understands more clearly what the king's attention can do. Families understand it too, and this brings us to the education of women who might one day stand close enough to power to be changed by it. Before we leave Bessie completely, let the quieter afterlife of her favor settle for a moment. A woman who has been the king's mistress does not simply return to ordinary life as if nothing happened. Even if she marries well, even if she behaves carefully, even if no scandal attaches too sharply to her name, she carries a brightness others can see. Some admire it, some resent it, some treat it like contamination, some treat it like proof that she knows more about power than she should. In a country house, Bessie might hear court news arrive late and softened by distance. Henry has favored someone else. The queen remains dignified. The king's son, her son, is being raised with honors. A title has been granted, a tutor appointed, a household arranged. These reports would not be abstract to her. They would concern a child she bore, now moving through circles she no longer occupies. Motherhood and politics do not separate neatly in her story. A son can be loved in the ordinary way, with worry over sleep, health, temperament, and distance. The same son can also become a dynastic symbol adults use to make arguments about legitimacy, masculinity, fertility, and the future of the realm. The mother may not control those arguments, even though they pass through her body and her memory. So Bessie's retreat is not disappearance exactly. It is a movement into a quieter kind of uncertainty. She has escaped the hottest center of the court, but history has not finished with what she represented. Her son continues the conversation she no longer leads. Her name remains attached to proof, possibility, and the first clear sign that Henry's desire could alter the logic of succession. Now we turn to the girls who came after her, and to the long preparation that made courtly danger look like grace. A noble girl's childhood is not as soft as it looks from the outside. The manor house may seem calm. It may have gardens, carved chests, chapel bells, linen closets, winter fires, and tapestries that show saints, hunts, or scenes from romance. But inside that calm is preparation. A girl of rank is being shaped from the beginning into someone useful to her family. She learns to read enough, pray correctly, sing if she has a voice, play if she has skill, sew beautifully, manage conversation, understand rank, speak with humility to those above her, and grace to those below. She learns that her body must be controlled, her laughter, her posture, her appetite, her glance, her silence at 6. She is corrected gently at 10, less gently by 12. She understands that everyone is looking for signs of future value. Her day has its own small discipline. Morning prayer first, because piety must be visible before anything else. Then reading, if her household values it, and often sewing, because a needle teaches patience, posture, silence, and the usefulness of hands that do not fidget. Music follows, perhaps a virginal, perhaps singing, perhaps a lute if there is money and a teacher. Dance is practiced in a long room, with the floor cold beneath thin shoes and a servant or instructor beating time until the steps become memory. Meals teach her too. She learns not to reach, not to chew too quickly, not to show hunger, not to laugh with food in her mouth, not to contradict an elder, not to appear dull when men talk politics, and not to appear too interested when men talk politics. She learns the correct distance between attention and impertinence. No one writes that distance down. She must feel it. Clothing becomes another lesson. A gown must be worn as if it does not weigh heavily, though it does. Sleeves restrict movement. Bodices shape posture. Hoods frame the face and limit the angle of the head. Jewelry must be displayed without touching it too often. Fine fabric must not be tripped over, stained, or treated as if its cost frightens you. even when its cost frightens your father. By adolescence, she has already learned one of court life's central lies. What looks natural is usually rehearsed. She may not yet know the names of all the games, but she feels the rules around her. When her parents receive letters, she notices seals. When her mother speaks of court, her voice changes. When an older cousin returns from service in a queen's household, the younger girls gather close to hear the stories. The gowns, the music, the king, the rivalries, the danger of saying too much. By 14 or 15, a well-born girl might enter a great household or the court itself. This is an honor. It is also exposure. She enters a world of older women who watch everything. They teach through advice, example, and warning. Do not laugh too loudly. Do not stand too near a doorway where men gather. Do not accept a gift without understanding who sent it. Do not refuse rudely. Do not accept eagerly. Do not let the queen think you mock her. Do not let the king think you are dull. Do not let anyone believe you can be used easily, unless being useful is precisely what your family intends. This is the impossible lesson, Sparkle. But not too much. Be modest, but not invisible. Be obedient, but not stupid. Be charming, but not careless. If the king notices you, be grateful, but afraid. The court's language is built from half gestures. A fan lowered, a flower chosen, a sleeve embroidered, a ring worn on a particular finger, a prayer book held longer than necessary, a curtsy deepened for one man and not another. In a world where plain speech can be dangerous, women learn to speak through objects. Jewelry matters. A locket may hold a portrait. A pendant may contain a hidden motto. Pearls may suggest purity, tears, wealth, or loyalty, depending on who is looking. A jewel sent by the king is never only decoration. It is a sign. It marks the body in public while pretending to be private. The woman who wears it may feel the weight of it all day. Fabric matters too. A color can flatter, announce, challenge, or soothe. A gown too rich for a maid of honor invites questions. A French hood worn at an angle can frame the eyes and hide them. Sleeves may conceal letters. Embroidery may carry initials, devices, pomegranates, hearts, knots, roses, or messages only a few can read. Flowers speak. Rosemary for remembrance, violets for faithfulness, marigolds, roses, lavender, and rue, each carrying associations that can shift with context. A little bundle held in a glove might be scent, fashion, charm, or letter without words. Dances speak at a mask. Roles blur. A king may dress as a shepherd, a knight, a pilgrim, a prisoner of love. Women may be rescued symbolically, adored symbolically, chosen symbolically, until symbolism gets tired and becomes fact. One dance is harmless. 3 dances are gossip. A glance during the 4th may become policy. For the listener now, this can be allowed to become almost hypnotic. The court is a room full of signals, silk, pearls, fans, flowers, bows, music, the slow turning of dancers beneath candlelight. Nothing needs to be solved all at once. The point is only this. Before a woman became a mistress, she often had to become fluent in a language no one admitted teaching her. Let the objects remain for a while. A fan of painted parchment, opening with a soft, dry whisper. A girdle book small enough to hang from the waist, its pages edged in gold. A mander filled with herbs against sickness and smell, turning slowly from a chain. Gloves scented with ambergris or rose. A handkerchief embroidered with initials no one should ask about. A ribbon tied too carefully to be accidental. These little things make the court feel gentle until you understand their use. A gift can be a question. Wearing it can be an answer. Hiding it can be caution. Returning it can be danger. Keeping it unworn can mean delay. Passing it through a servant can protect the giver while exposing the woman. Every object develops a second life after it leaves the hand that sent it. And some women learned that language better than others. Mary Boleyn learned one version of it. Anne Boleyn learned another. Together, they changed the meaning of royal favor. Mary comes first in our softened path through the Boleyn story. Before England, there is France. For a young Englishwoman, the French court could feel like another climate. The language moves differently. The fashions are sharper. Music drifts through rooms with a lighter confidence. Courtly flirtation may seem more polished, more practiced, perhaps more dangerous because it arrives with better manners. A girl sent there learns quickly that charm can be both entertainment and weapon. Mary's time in France is wrapped in rumor. Later gossip would darken it, sexualize it, use it against her, and reduce a young woman to a reputation she could not fully answer. This was one of the cruelties of Tudor and early modern life. A man's experience might be called worldly. A woman's experience could become a stain. Whether every rumor about Mary was true is less important than the way rumor followed her back across the channel like salt on a hymn. When she returns to England, she brings more than clothing and court polish. She brings a name already touched by talk. She is often remembered only in relation to Anne, as if her own life were an antechamber to her sister's rise. But Mary lived a full Tudor story of her own. Sent to foreign courts, judged by rumor, desired by a king, married, widowed, cast aside, and finally bold enough to choose love in a world that preferred strategy. Imagine her young, returning from France. The French court had a reputation for polish, elegance, flirtation, and danger. Whether all the worst rumors about Mary were true matters less than the fact that people believed enough to whisper. Reputation in Tudor England could arrive before a woman did. It could stand beside her at dinner. It could speak over her before she opened her mouth. Mary returns to England with experience attached to her name. Henry notices her. Their affair seems to have unfolded without the violent upheaval that Anne's later relationship would cause. Mary becomes a royal mistress, but not a queen in waiting. She receives attention, perhaps gifts, perhaps family advantage, and then Henry moves on. This is the ordinary pattern. The king desires. The woman is elevated. The family warms itself briefly. Then the warmth shifts elsewhere. Mary is married to William Carey. Respectability covers what needs covering. Children are born. Katherine and Henry Carey. A marriage like this can look tidy in records. Names aligned, dates written, children baptized, household arranged. But human life inside the arrangement is less tidy. Mary has been close to the king. Her husband serves at court. Her family continues to rise and maneuver. Anne is becoming more visible. Catherine of Aragon remains queen. Henry's attention, once Mary's advantage, is moving elsewhere. What does it feel like to live after being the favorite? Perhaps quieter, perhaps humiliating, perhaps relieving. Mary may have learned that royal attention is not a possession. It is weather. It arrives, warms, unsettles, and passes on. The people left behind must continue indoors, repairing what the weather changed. Her children grow under a haze of possibility. If they are William Carey's children, then they are part of a respectable court family. If one or both are Henry's, they carry royal blood without royal acknowledgement. No cradle announces the truth. No document settles it. The ambiguity itself becomes inheritance. Whether Henry VIII fathered one or both remains debated, uncertain, tangled in timing and silence. The king did not acknowledge them as he acknowledged Fitzroy. That absence matters. A child can be potentially royal in rumor and still ordinary in law. Rumor may follow a family for generations, but it cannot always open the right doors at the right time. Mary's life does not end with the king's attention. This is important. After William Carey dies, she becomes a widow with children, dependent on family support at a time when her sister Anne is rising. Then Mary does something that, in the logic of court, seems almost reckless. She marries William Stafford, a man of lower rank, secretly, for love or something close to it. Court is furious, not because Mary had once been the king's mistress. That could be managed, not because she had lived near scandal. That too could be absorbed if useful. The unforgivable thing is that she chooses without permission, without obvious gain, without turning herself into a family instrument. Mary is banished from court, and yet, in that banishment, there is a strange freedom. She leaves the bright danger. She lives more quietly. She does not burn like Anne. She does not stand on a scaffold. She does not become the center of a kingdom's religious fracture. She survives, and survival in Tudor history is not a small achievement. Mary Boleyn teaches a quieter lesson than her sister. The woman who seems secondary may outlast the legend. The woman who is dismissed as used or foolish may make the most human choice of all: to step away from power when power has already taken enough. But Anne is different. Before she becomes dangerous to the kingdom, she is dangerous to assumptions. Anne has also spent time abroad, absorbing French manners, fashion, language, and the sort of confidence that English observers could interpret as sophistication or insolence, depending on whether they liked her. She returns not as a conventional beauty everyone agrees upon, but as something more unsettling. A woman whose presence gathers attention even from those determined to dislike her. Her face, according to later descriptions, was not the simple ideal of pale perfection. Her power seems to have come from movement, intelligence, eyes, voice, timing, and the sense that she was thinking while others only displayed themselves. In a court full of trained women, Anne's difference was part of her magnetism. She had watched Mary. This is important, whether with pity, caution, affection, rivalry, or some shifting combination. Anne had seen what happened when a woman became the king's pleasure without securing the future. She understood the danger of being enjoyed and set aside. So when Henry turns toward her, Anne's refusal is not merely coyness. It is political self-defense. Anne enters the story like a candle held too near dry cloth. She is not simply another royal mistress. She is the woman who refuses to become only that. If Mary represents the old pattern, Anne breaks it. She understands what happened to her sister. She sees that a woman who yields too easily may be enjoyed and discarded. So Anne does not yield. Henry pursues her. She resists. At first, this may appear as courtly love, the elegant game of longing, refusal, poetry, gifts, and service. But the game deepens. Henry is not used to denial. Anne's refusal becomes fascination. Fascination becomes obsession. Obsession becomes policy. Letters pass between them. Henry's surviving letters to Anne reveal a king made strangely human by desire. Impatient, pleading, proud, wounded, eager. Anne becomes not only a beloved object, but a political possibility. She wants security. She wants marriage. She refuses to be another Mary. Henry wants her, and increasingly he wants the legitimate son he believes she can provide. Catherine of Aragon stands in the way. That is how a private longing becomes a public crisis. Henry seeks annulment. Rome hesitates and refuses. The matter grows larger than marriage. Parliament stirs. Theological arguments multiply. Scholars are consulted. Ambassadors report. Katherine remains dignified and firm. Anne remains present, visible, controversial, necessary. A woman's refusal, joined to a king's desire and dynastic anxiety, begins to shake the foundations of English religious life. For a sleep story, we keep the storm at a distance. We do not need the shouting. We can hear instead the softer sounds around it. Parchment folded, seals pressed into wax, footsteps crossing corridors at night, candles burning late in council rooms, Anne's ladies whispering while she sits very still, Katherine praying, Henry pacing. The whole court pretending daily routine can continue while the kingdom changes shape. The waiting lasts years. Years are hard to imagine when history compresses them into a paragraph. For Anne, those years meant repeated uncertainty. Promises made and delayed. Hope rising, then catching against Rome, law, diplomacy, public opinion, Katherine's refusal, and Henry's own impatience. Each season could begin with confidence and end in frustration. Each ambassadorial letter could change the atmosphere in the room. Anne's position during the waiting is almost impossible. She is not queen, but she is treated by some as if she already commands. She is not wife, but she has displaced the wife in Henry's attention. She is not mistress in the ordinary sense, but many hate her as if she were. She must be close enough to hold Henry, distant enough to preserve her claim, powerful enough to reward allies, cautious enough not to seem to rule too openly. No wonder the court watched her constantly. A new jewel becomes evidence. A change in the king's mood becomes prophecy. A religious book in her possession becomes a sign of reform. A quarrel becomes a rumor. A smile becomes arrogance. A silence becomes guilt. This long in-between state may have been one of the most exhausting forms of power. Anne becomes queen in 1533. The former almost mistress is crowned. This is astonishing, dangerous, unprecedented in its emotional force. A woman who had once been a lady in waiting to the queen now sits in the queen's place. Some cheer, some obey, some hate her, some fear what her rise means for themselves. Anne's victory is real, but victory in Tudor England is never a safe bed. She gives birth to a daughter, Elizabeth. Let the nursery become still for a moment. A newborn does not know she has disappointed a king. She does not know that banners expected blue and received another kind of future. She does not know that grown men have built calculations around a body smaller than a loaf of bread. She breathes, sleeps, cries, and is wrapped carefully because babies are not symbols to themselves. Anne looks at her daughter. What did she feel first? Love, fear, defiance, dread, tenderness, exhaustion. Perhaps all of them layered together. She had given Henry a living child. Not the son he demanded, but a child, a princess, a future no one in the room could yet imagine correctly. History, from a great distance, almost wants to whisper reassurance to Anne. This girl will matter. This girl will survive. This girl will rule. But Anne cannot hear that. She lives inside the disappointment of her own time. The court had hoped for a son. Henry had gambled a marriage, a church, and his reputation on the promise of male succession. A daughter is not enough for him. Anne's position, once built from desire, must now rest on fertility, politics, enemies, and time. Time is not kind. She miscarries. Henry's eye wanders. Jane Seymour waits nearby. Quieter, softer, more useful to those who want Anne gone. Anne's fall is swift. The charges against her were grave. Adultery, treason, even incest. The evidence remains deeply suspect. The verdict seems shaped by political need. Anne is taken too. The Tower, judged, condemned, and executed in 1536. We say it softly. The violence belongs to history, but we do not need to dwell inside it. What matters tonight is the terrible arc. A woman who transformed the role of mistress into queenship discovered that becoming queen did not save her from the machinery that had once lifted her. And yet her daughter survived. Elizabeth, the unwanted girl, would one day become Elizabeth I, one of England's most famous monarchs, and did not live to see it. History does this often. It lets people die without knowing the shape of their influence. The Boleyn sisters leave us with a pattern. Mary says yes and is forgotten, then survives by choosing ordinary love. Anne says no and becomes queen, then dies because the crown she won cannot protect her. Both were judged, both were used, both acted, both were acted upon. Neither fits neatly into victim or villain. They were women in a system that taught them to play and punish them for winning or losing too visibly. Their family, too, shows the wider machinery. Thomas Boleyn rises with his daughter's visibility and becomes a symbol of the ambitious father in the popular imagination, though history is rarely that simple. The Howard connection matters. Reformist circles matter. Diplomatic experience matters. The Boleyns did not rise only because Henry desired two sisters. They rose because desire entered a network already trained to use opportunity. This is how Tudor court politics worked. No one rises alone. A woman's beauty or wit might open a door, but behind her stood relatives, patrons, chaplains, secretaries, ambassadors, household allies, and enemies ready to measure every gain. To call a mistress powerful without seeing the network around her is to misunderstand power. To call her merely a pawn is to miss how she might move within the network herself. Mary and Anne therefore become not opposites, but two examples of the same dangerous system viewed from different angles. One survives by leaving the game. One changes the game and is consumed by it. Let the court breathe again. The hall is quieter now. The dancers have gone. A servant snuffs one candle, then another. The floor still holds the memory of steps. Somewhere, a letter lies folded in a box. Somewhere, a jewel is locked away because it no longer means what it once meant. The story moves next into the private rooms, where power becomes harder to see and more dangerous to touch. The privy chamber is not grand in the way the public rooms are grand. It is smaller, warmer, closer to the body of the king. It is where he dresses, dines privately, hears music, jokes, complains, receives trusted men, rests, and sometimes allows the boundary between personal desire and political power to dissolve completely. To enter these rooms is to approach the hidden machinery of the court. The throne room shows majesty. The chapel shows devotion. The council chamber shows formal government, but the privy chamber shows access, and access may matter more than title. Access has a sound, the quiet opening of a door by someone who does not need to knock, the murmur of a gentleman who knows the king's mood before anyone else, the scrape of a chair drawn closer to the fire, the lowering of voices when a new person enters, the small pause before a servant decides whether to remain or withdraw. Access also has a smell: hot wax, warmed wine, ink, leather, wet wool drying near the hearth, the musk of gloves, and sometimes the medicinal scents of an aging king's body. These are not the public sense of ceremony. They are intimate, practical, human. The closer one comes to the king, the less mythic and more physical power becomes. This physical closeness is part of what makes the privy chamber dangerous. A king who appears distant in public can be tired. amused, irritated, lonely, or vain in private. Those who witness that vulnerability may gain influence. They may also gain enemies, because everyone outside the door wants to know what happened inside. Men who serve the king there can become powerful because they control nearness. They know his moods. They know who was admitted. They know who waited. They know which gift was sent and which was returned. For a woman rumored to be favored, the privy chamber is both opportunity and trap. A visit might be explained as music, reading, attendance, a message, a moment of entertainment. But explanation is fragile. The walls listen, servants see. A door closing softly can become the beginning of a rumor that no oath can later kill. Imagine the room late at night. The hearth glows, wine rests on a table, a book lies open, a lute sits against a chair. The air is warmer than the galleries outside. Beyond the door, someone waits in silence because waiting is part of service. Inside, a woman's voice may be low, careful, light enough to soothe, clever enough to hold attention. This is where Jane Seymour's rise can be understood. Jane did not appear from nowhere. She came from a respectable family, served in royal households, and learned the same courtly disciplines as other women near the Queen. She had seen Catherine of Aragon's dignity. She had seen Anne Boleyn's brilliance and danger. By the time Henry noticed her, Jane knew that every glance at court had witnesses, even when no one seemed to be looking. Her power lay in contrast. After years of conflict, reform, sharp words, public tension, and Anne's fierce presence, Jane's quietness seemed like peace. Her modesty was not emptiness. It was a role, whether instinctive or coached, and it answered a need in Henry. She could seem gentle where Anne had seemed challenging, obedient where Anne had seemed demanding, pure where Anne's enemies painted corruption. The court helped create this image because many people wanted Anne replaced. A woman's personality at court was never interpreted neutrally. It became useful to factions. Jane's silence could be called virtue. Anne's intelligence could be called pride. Catherine's endurance could be called saintliness or stubbornness, depending on who benefited. Jane did not dazzle like Anne. She appeared gentle, modest, controlled. That appearance was powerful because Henry had grown tired of Anne's fire and conflict. Jane's softness became contrast. She refused gifts, or seemed to refuse them. She allowed others to read virtue into restraint. She became, in the court's imagination, the answer to Anne. Whether Jane herself shaped this image or was shaped by those around her, it worked. She became queen after Anne's fall and gave Henry the son he had long desired, Edward. Jane died soon after childbirth, and because she died before Henry could turn against her, memory preserved her more gently than most. The woman who began as a quiet alternative became the mother of the male heir. In Henry's story, that made her precious, but the same rooms that lifted Jane could ruin others. Katherine Howard, young and lively, entered Henry's later life as a burst of youth. Her story is darker, and we will keep it soft. She was very young, and the court around her was not gentle. By the time Henry married Katherine Howard, the machinery of royal intimacy had become more dangerous than ever. Everyone had learned from earlier falls. Everyone knew accusation could become weapon. Everyone knew the king's affection could shift from adoration to punishment with terrible speed. Catherine's past, her youth, her desire for attention, and the failures of those meant to protect her all became part of a fatal pattern. It is easy for later centuries to treat her story as scandal, but in a sleep history, we can choose compassion. We can see a young woman placed too near an aging king, surrounded by factions, watched by servants, judged by standards that gave her little room to be foolish, and live. Her story is a warning, yes, but not only about female imprudence, as Tudor moralists like to imply. It is a warning about power looking at youth and calling it love. She became queen, but her past and present relationships were used against her. She was accused, condemned, and executed. Her youth did not protect her. Her beauty did not protect her. Being queen did not protect her. The lesson repeats. Nearness to Henry is not safety. It is exposure. The privy chamber turns private moments into public consequences. A smile in the wrong place. A letter hidden badly. A servant's testimony. An enemy's opportunity. A woman's life could be rearranged by what others claimed had happened behind a door. And yet, women kept entering because the same rooms could bring pensions, marriages, land, advancement, survival for a family, or the strange, intoxicating sense that for one brief moment, the most powerful man in the kingdom was listening. This is the terrible balance at the heart of the story. The mistress is not powerless, but her power is borrowed, conditional, and watched. She may influence appointments. She may ask for mercy for a relative. She may soften a decision. She may pass a petition at the right hour. She may change the atmosphere around the king, but she cannot command the structure that gives her influence. If his affection cools, the doors close. If enemies gather, she has little formal defense. If the queen's faction moves against her, she may find herself suddenly alone. Let the room quiet. The fire lowers. The lute string has gone silent. The door remains closed, then opens. A woman steps out with her face carefully arranged. No one asks where she has been. Everyone knows enough not to ask. History often records proclamations. But in Tudor England, much of history also passed through rooms like this. Warm, private, scented with wax, guarded by men who heard everything and wrote almost nothing. Beyond the privy chamber, there are women whose names nearly vanish. This may be the most haunting part of all. A famous woman leaves a brighter trail even when her enemies darken it. Anne Boleyn leaves letters, trials, ambassadors' reports, portraits, laws, and the echo of Elizabeth. Katherine Howard leaves records of investigation and tragedy. Bessie Blount leaves Fitzroy. Mary Boleyn leaves family lines and unanswered questions. But other women leave almost nothing. A payment in an account book. A property transfer. A rumor in a foreign dispatch. A child placed under someone's care. A courtier's joke preserved by accident. A parish record with no explanation. These fragments are like bits of thread caught on a thorn after the garment has vanished. The historian must decide whether the thread means a dress passed by, or whether wind placed it there from somewhere else. This uncertainty can frustrate scholarship, but for our purposes tonight, it also reveals something beautiful and sad. Most lives are not fully recorded. Most women did not get to narrate themselves. The absence is part of the story, and we can sit with it gently. For every Anne Boleyn, there were women like Bessie Darrell, remembered only faintly, if at all, in records, local traditions, genealogies, pensions, or the shadows of estates. They did not become queens. They did not inspire revolutions. They may not have left letters. Their portraits, if they existed, may not have names attached. Yet they lived near the same danger. Bessie Darrell appears in the transcript as one of those quieter figures, possibly connected to Henry VIII, possibly mother to a child, believed by some to have been his, though not officially acknowledged. The very uncertainty is part of the world she represents. A mistress without acknowledgement occupies a strange place. If the king admits too much, scandal takes form. If he admits nothing, the woman and child may live in a fog of implication. A pension may arrive. An estate may be granted. Letters may be careful. Everyone may know, and no one may say. This kind of silence can last for generations. Imagine such a woman far from the court. A small estate, a fire kept low, child sleeping in a carved cradle. The day begins not with masks or jewels, but with household work. Bread to order, linen to inspect, tenants to hear, a letter to answer carefully, a chaplain to receive, a sick servant to consider. In the stillness of a rural house, court scandal becomes a distant weather system, but it can still darken the sky. She may have a jewel hidden away, not worn now, not useful. Too dangerous, perhaps, or too painful, or too old-fashioned. It rests in a small box among ribbons, seals, dried flowers, a child's first tooth, a prayer bead, and letters that say almost nothing directly. Objects outlast explanations. The jewel knows who gave it. The paper does not dare say. Visitors may come and speak carefully. They mention the king only in public terms. They ask after health, harvest, weather, and the child. If they look too long at the boy's face, the room notices. If they do not look at all, the room notices that too. Silence becomes a social skill, practiced over years. Tapestries faded, but respectable. Servants who know what they know and do not speak of it. Money arrives, perhaps, enough to maintain comfort, but not enough to explain itself too loudly. The king does not visit. The court does not celebrate. The connection is felt like a draft beneath a door. This life is less dramatic than Anne's. It may be lonelier. To be famous is dangerous, but to be hidden is another kind of erasure. A woman may have shared the king's bed, borne his child, carried his attention, and then become a margin note. Her life continues, day by day, with meals, accounts, illness, weather, household disputes, prayer, and the education of a child whose origin must be both known and unknown. The forgotten mistresses remind us that history is not only made by those who burn brightly. Some influence is quiet, a pension here, a marriage there, a son or daughter folded into another family line, a rumor that changes how people treat a household, a woman's caution teaching other women what not to hope for. Let the estate settle around you. Wind presses at shutters. The child sleeps. A woman sits by candlelight, brushing her hair, counting not jewels, but years. How long since the last message? How long since the court remembered her? How long before her name disappears into a parish register, a legal note, a family story no one can prove? There is sorrow in this, but there is also survival. Not every woman at the edge of royal desire wanted to be remembered by the whole kingdom. Some may have wanted peace. Some may have wanted their children safe. Some may have wanted enough money to live quietly, away from the hallways where a smile could become a sentence. And then there were the women who refused. Their stories are even harder to see because success in refusal often leaves no record. A woman who avoids danger cleanly does not always enter history. The king looks elsewhere. The family finds another arrangement. The gift is not sent, or is sent and returned without drama. The rumor never hardens. The girl marries someone suitable, leaves court, bears children, manages a household, and dies with no one writing that once, very briefly. She stood near the edge of royal attention and stepped back. That kind of survival is nearly invisible, but invisibility can be a victory. Refusal in Tudor court rarely looks like a slammed door. It looks like courtesy. It looks like delay. It looks like accepting a compliment, but not a gift. Attending a masque, but not a private supper. smiling in public, but never being alone long enough for rumor to harden. It looks like illness at a convenient hour, a mother's intervention, a request for service elsewhere, a marriage arranged before danger grows too clear. To refuse a king openly would be dangerous. To refuse him beautifully might be possible. Women such as Anne Bassett and Margaret Shelton appear in discussions of Henry's wandering attention, though the details are often uncertain. What matters for our story is the category they represent. Women near enough to be considered, watched, perhaps encouraged by family factions, but not fully consumed by the role. A woman who says no must know what she is refusing. She refuses gifts that might enrich her family. She refuses advancement that might make her father grateful. She refuses a chance, however dangerous, to matter. She also refuses the gossip, the rivalry, the queen's coldness, the possible pregnancy, the marriage arranged afterward, the sudden fall when the king tires. Refusal can be courage. It can also be strategy. At court, survival often requires not purity in a simple sense, but timing. The woman who becomes unavailable at precisely the right moment may be judged virtuous. The woman who becomes unavailable too bluntly may be punished. The woman who is too available may be discarded. The dance is exhausting. This is where the sleep story becomes tender. Imagine a young woman returning to her after a feast. Her gown is heavy. Her hair aches from pins. Her cheeks hurt from smiling. On a table lies a small gift she has not yet accepted. She knows what it means. She knows what accepting may mean. She also knows that refusing may not protect her entirely. She sits with the candle low, one hand resting near the unopened box, and listens to the palace breathe around her. The gift is wrapped in silk. It might be a ring, a pendant, a book, gloves, a little purse, something expensive enough to matter and small enough to deny. If she keeps it, someone may find out. If she returns it, someone may be insulted. If she tells her family, they may not advise caution. They may advise advantage. If she tells the queen, she may become protected or marked. If she tells no one, she carries the decision alone. This is the kind of moment history rarely records. No treaty, no battle, no proclamation, only a young woman in a candlelit room deciding how to survive attention. No one tells these stories as loudly. History loves the women who rise and fall. It is less attentive to the women who step aside before the trap closes. But their quiet refusals belong here too, because they reveal the pressure of the system. When saying no requires artistry, the freedom behind yes becomes questionable. Now, let us return to the queen's side of the room, because every mistress story has a queen standing somewhere in the background. Her presence may be silent, but it is never irrelevant. The queen's household is often where future mistresses are first placed. Her ladies dress her, accompany her, pray with her, sing with her, ride with her, and sometimes become the women who wound her most deeply. This creates a form of intimacy that is difficult to imagine calmly. Betrayal, if it comes from within the chamber. A queen must continue the day. She must dress, receive, pray, dine, smile at ambassadors, reward servants, hear music, appear in public beside the king if required, even when the court whispers. She must become the still point around which dignity gathers. To break publicly is to give enemies another story. This restraint is often mistaken for passivity. It is not passive to remain composed while being measured by hundreds of eyes. It is discipline. It may also be the only power available. Catherine of Aragon knew. Of course she knew. Queens are not spared knowledge simply because people speak softly. In fact, queens often know more than anyone, because their households are full of women who hear everything. Catherine, dignified and devout, had to endure the king's affairs while maintaining her public role. A queen could not easily rage. Her power lay in composure, piety, lineage, and the ability to turn suffering into royal dignity. Imagine her at chapel, candles burning, Latin prayers, the rustle of fabric as ladies kneel behind her. Somewhere among them may be a woman the king has favored or will favor. Catherine lowers her head. The court watches how she prays. Even her silence is performance. Anne Boleyn, once the rival, later becomes the queen who must watch Henry's attention move toward Jane Seymour. This is one of history's bitter circles. The woman who rose because the king looked away from his wife learns what it means to be the wife from whom he looks away. Anne, sharp and proud, cannot use Catherine's kind of silence easily. She feels the danger, and perhaps the humiliation, more openly. Jane's modesty becomes a weapon because it is the opposite of Anne's fire. Jane Seymour, as queen, does not live long enough to endure the full pattern. Later queens do. The queen and the mistress are often treated as opposites, but both live inside the king's power. The queen has title, ritual, household, rank, and lawful place. The mistress has warmth, immediacy, and sometimes influence. The queen may despise the mistress may fear the queen, yet both know that the king's desire moves like weather they cannot command. This is why the story is not simply about rivalry between women. That rivalry is real, but it is not the root. The root is the structure that makes them compete for security through one man's attention. A queen without a son is vulnerable. A mistress without continued favor is vulnerable. A maid of honor who attracts notice is vulnerable. A wife chosen for policy is vulnerable. The court may dress this in velvet, but velvet does not make it soft. Let the chapel fade. Let the women's chambers return. There is embroidery on a frame, a prayer book on a table, a comb of carved ivory, a basin of rose water. Ladies sit together, sewing, reading, watching. The room appears gentle from a distance, but every woman there is reading the others. Who has been quiet? Who received a letter? Who blushed when the king entered? Who has new pearls? Who has been moved closer to the queen or farther away? The queen's household is a map of favor, and maps can change overnight. In the middle of all this is courtly love, the beautiful lie that makes danger sound like music. Before it becomes dangerous, it can be genuinely lovely to watch. A winter masque in a Tudor hall is a world of flame and fabric. Candles multiply in polished cups. Musicians tune in the gallery. The floor is cleared. Costumed figures enter as shepherds, pilgrims, gods, prisoners, knights, or allegorical virtues. The king loves such performance because it lets him be both ruler and actor, both the center of the story and the one pretending to seek favor. Women seated along the hall know they are part of the spectacle. They may be chosen for a dance, addressed in poetry, offered a symbolic token, praised as mercy, beauty, constancy, or conquest. Everyone understands it is play. Everyone also understands that play at court can become policy by morning. Courtly love gives desire a costume. It says the lady is adored from a distance. The man serves. He writes poems. He sends tokens. He sighs, suffers, praises, and submits. It transforms longing into art. In theory, it is refined, spiritual, controlled in practice. Especially when the man is king, the boundary between performance and demand can vanish. A poem left on a pillow is not only a poem. A ring given at a joust is not only a ring. A king dressed as a knight at a masque is not only playing. The woman receiving these gestures must interpret them quickly and safely. Is this flattery? Is this command? Is this a game everyone sees? Is this a private summons wrapped in public symbolism? If she accepts the poem, does she accept the man? If she refuses the jewel, does she insult the king? If she laughs, is she encouraging him? If she does not laugh, is she cold? This is not romance as modern people like to imagine it. It is strategy wearing perfume, and yet feeling may still be real. That is the complication. Some women may have loved, some may have been flattered, frightened, or dazzled into believing they loved. Some may have calculated first and felt later. Some may have learned to perform affection so well that performance and feeling blurred. Human hearts do not stop being human because politics enters the room. Henry's letters to Anne show intensity. They also show need, possession, frustration, and the imbalance of power. A king in love is still a king. His longing may sound vulnerable, but his vulnerability is backed by law, guards, wealth, and the ability to reorder lives. Letters in this world are fragile and dangerous things. They travel by hand. They can be intercepted, misdelivered, copied, hidden, burned, saved, or shown to the wrong person at the worst time. A woman's letter to the king might protect her if it proves caution. It might ruin her if it proves affection. A king's letter might seem like treasure when written and evidence when discovered. Imagine a lady holding a folded note close to candlelight. The wax seal is broken. The handwriting is familiar enough to make her stomach tighten. She reads once quickly, then again slowly, not only for feeling, but for danger. What exactly is promised? What exactly is asked? Does the phrase mean love, command, impatience, or warning? Should she answer tonight or wait until morning? Even paper has a pulse in Tudor court. For a woman, courtly love could become a narrow bridge. On one side, rejection; on the other, ruin; beneath, gossip; ahead, uncertainty; behind, family ambition. She walks because standing still is not allowed. Let the bridge become a dance. Music begins. The room glows. Masked figures move beneath candlelight. Fans open, sleeves brush. A lady lowers her eyes. The king laughs. A queen watches. A foreign ambassador writes something down. Somewhere, a young woman understands that by morning, the room may have decided her future. After the dance, the palace quiets, not entirely. Palaces never truly sleep. Servants remain awake, fires are tended, guards shift, pages run messages. In some chamber, a woman reads a note again and again, trying to decide whether to keep it or burn it. This is the hidden rhythm of Tudor mistress life. Attention, rumor, gift, calculation, fear, then waiting. Waiting in a gallery while the king speaks with another woman. Waiting in a chamber while a servant tries to learn whether a summons is coming. Waiting for a family letter that will either urge caution or instruct ambition. Waiting for a queen's face to reveal whether she knows. Waiting for the body itself, because a missed cycle can change everything. Waiting for marriage arrangements to be made before gossip spoils them. Waiting for favor to turn into land, or title, or nothing. Waiting is not empty time. It is the mind working without rest. Waiting may be the most overlooked part of the story. A mistress waits for a summons. A queen waits for proof of betrayal. A family waits for advantage. A rival waits for weakness. A servant waits to be asked what she saw. The king does not wait in the same way. His waiting is desire. Everyone else's waiting is survival. Night after night, a favored woman may sleep lightly. If she is wise, she knows affection has an expiration date no one will announce. Today the king wants her laughter. Tomorrow he may want someone quieter. Today her family is praised. Tomorrow they may be blamed for presuming too much. Today she is fragrant, glowing, envied. Tomorrow she is a problem to be married off. The body's beauty is treated like currency, but currency spends down. A woman ages, the king tires. A pregnancy changes the shape of danger. A rival appears. A queen regains influence. A faction finds a better candidate. The mistress who once seemed central can become inconvenient with astonishing speed. This is why some women sought settlements, marriage to a respectable man, a pension, a small estate, a place away from court. Survival often meant converting royal favor into something more stable before favor vanished. But even stability could be humiliating. A woman might be married off as if closing an account. Her husband might know exactly why she was chosen. Her children might inherit whispers. Her name might remain attached to the king long after the king forgot her. And yet, in their limited ways, women acted. They refused. They accepted. They delayed. They used gifts. They protected relatives. They read the room. They chose quiet marriages. They preserved letters. They destroyed letters. They taught younger women. They survived. The transcript's strongest question is this: were royal mistresses victims or agents? The most honest answer is both, depending on the woman, the day, the room, and the degree of choice available. Tudor court life did not give women equal power, but it did not erase their intelligence. They were constrained, watched, and often exploited. They also learned to move within constraint with skill that deserves recognition. Agency inside a trap is still agency, but it is not freedom. Let that thought settle gently. Without sharpness, we can hold compassion and complexity together. We can see the courage of women who navigated power without pretending the game was fair. We can see strategy without blaming them for the structure. We can see ambition without forgetting fear. By the later years of Henry's reign, the pattern has become darker. Time changes the court's relationship to desire. In the early years, a royal affair may still be wrapped in youth, music, fertility, and the optimism of a dynasty finding its shape. By the later years, everyone has memories. They know how quickly affection can become accusation. They know that a queen can be replaced, that a marriage can be undone, that a woman's laughter can later be reinterpreted as guilt. The court becomes cautious in a more frightened way. Older ladies warn younger ones with sharper urgency. Families still seek favor, but the favor now glows like a coal that has burned too many fingers. Ambassadors write with more suspicion. Servants listen more carefully. The king's body itself, aging and painful, changes the emotional weather around him. The young golden king is gone. In his place is an older, heavier, more suspicious ruler, still powerful, still capable of charm, but surrounded now by memories of broken marriages, dead queens, religious upheaval, factional struggle, illness, pain, and fear. The court grows more dangerous because everyone has seen what can happen. Jane Seymour is dead. Anne of Cleves has survived by accepting annulment and distance. Katherine Howard has fallen. Catherine Parr will survive by intelligence, tact, and the ability to soothe a king whose moods could become lethal. Around these queens move ladies, attendants, possible favorites. Women watched for signs of the king's interest or their own imprudence. A flirtation that might once have been courtly amusement can now feel like a route to the scaffold. The story of mistress becomes inseparable from the story of wives because Henry has made marriage itself unstable. Imagine a lady in waiting in these later years. She is not naive. She knows the names. Bessie Blount, who survived. Mary Boleyn. Who vanished into quieter love? Anne Boleyn. Who became queen and died? Jane Seymour. Who rose and died after childbirth? Katherine Howard. Who was young and did not survive the machinery around her? The lady smiles when required, but inside she counts risks. The court still sparkles. There are still masks, jewels, feasts, music, prayer, processions, hunts, and diplomatic entertainments. But the shine has shadows now. Every glittering thing seems to know how many women have paid for proximity. This is where the story becomes almost ghostly. The forgotten mistresses are not ghosts because they are dead. They are ghosts because history half remembers them. A name in a household account, a payment, a rumor in a letter, a child with uncertain parentage, a local tradition, a pension without explanation. They hover at the edge of documents, asking us to notice that not all lives leave the same kind of proof. History is unfair to quiet women. It records the king's desires more readily than the woman's thoughts. It remembers scandal more easily than ordinary endurance. It preserves accusations better than private hesitation. It gives us trials and titles, not the late-night feeling of sitting alone after being noticed by a dangerous man. So tonight, we imagine carefully, not to invent certainty where none exists, but to restore texture. The sound of a comb through hair, the weight of a jewel that cannot be worn without comment, the coolness of a letter hidden beneath linen, the smell of rose water in a chamber where a woman is trying to slow her breathing before supper. This is the sleep center of the story, not the scandal, the waiting, the soft dread behind candlelight, the human being inside the role. Let it stay quiet for a moment. A woman loosens the laces at her sleeves. A maid folds a gown over a chair. Someone pours water into a basin. A pearl earring is removed and placed on a cloth so it will not roll away. The face in the mirror looks less public now, less arranged. For the first time all day, the woman does not need to smile. This is where history becomes intimate enough to rest with. Not in the king's command, but in the breath after the door closes. Not in the gossip, but in the hands that tremble only when no one sees. Not in the title mistress, but in the person beneath it. Tired, uncertain, clever, sometimes ambitious, sometimes cornered, always more than the story told about her. Let us move now toward the end of the palace night. The feast is over. The musicians have packed their instruments. Wax has pooled at the base of candles. Servants move through the hall, collecting cups, plates, napkins, and the small wreckage of ceremony. The air smells of smoke, wine, meat, perfume, and tired bodies. The tapestries hang heavily, holding the warmth of the day. The palace after midnight is a different country. The bright hierarchy of the feast dissolves into practical labor. Servants who were invisible all evening now become the keepers of reality. They know who drank too much, who left early, who slipped a note beneath a trencher, which lady cried quietly near the chapel door, which gentleman waited too long outside the wrong chamber. They also know what not to say. In Tudor palaces, servants are the memory of the walls. They carry secrets with laundry, plates, bedding, firewood, and messages. Some are loyal. Some are frightened. Some are for sale. Some simply survive by understanding that knowledge is heavy and must be carried carefully. Tonight, they move softly through the ruins of elegance. A goblet is lifted, a bench pushed back, a candle snuffed, a fallen ribbon found near the edge of a screen. It may mean nothing. It may mean everything. The servant places it aside without expression. In the women's chamber, a lady removes pins from her hair. One by one, the sound is very small. A pin touches wood. Another follows. Hair loosens from the structured shape that carried her through the hall. The day has required architecture. Gown, hood, sleeves, jewels, posture, expression. Night begins by taking architecture apart. Her maid works carefully, not because the lady is fragile, but because fatigue makes every tug feel sharper. The hood is set aside, the necklace unclasped. The heavy gown opened and lifted away. Linen remains, and with it some hint of the body that existed before politics dressed it. If a gift came that evening, it may lie on the table. If no gift came, that absence also means something. Court life teaches people to read presence and absence with equal anxiety. The hairstyle loosens, the public face begins to soften. She is not a queen. She may not even be a famous mistress. Perhaps she was only watched tonight. Perhaps the king spoke to her twice. Perhaps someone else noticed that he noticed. Perhaps nothing will come of it. Perhaps everything will. She sits by a small flame and takes off a ring. If it is only her own ring, the gesture means nothing. If it was sent by someone powerful, it means too much. She places it on the table and looks at it, not with romance exactly, but with calculation and fatigue. A jewel can be beautiful and frightening at the same time. It can promise a future and close other futures. It can make a family rejoice while the woman herself feels the floor tilt beneath her. Outside the door, footsteps pass. She listens until they fade. In another room, the queen prays or does not sleep. In another, the king speaks with trusted men. In another, a servant repeats a detail that will become gossip by morning. Somewhere, a young maid of honor dreams of being noticed. Somewhere, an older woman knows better and wishes the girl a duller kind of luck. The palace settles. Henry's court, with all its appetite and beauty, begins to look less like a stage and more like a machine. It turns slowly. It feeds on attention. It rewards performance. It punishes misreading. It uses women as symbols, bridges, temptations, scapegoats, and sometimes catalysts for enormous change. And yet the machine is made of people. A king who wants to be loved and obeyed. A queen who must endure being watched. A young woman whose family has taught her to be useful and pure at the same time. A father measuring opportunity. A mother fearing what opportunity costs. A servant carrying a secret she did not ask to know. A child born into rumor. A priest praying for order. A musician playing while the room rearranges itself around desire. This is why the story remains powerful. It is not only scandal. Scandal fades if it has no human root. What remains is the uneasy truth that people seek safety, power, affection, and survival in systems that rarely give them all four at once. But women are never only what systems use them for. Bessie Blount is not only the mother of Fitzroy, Mary Boleyn is not only the other Boleyn girl, Anne Boleyn is not only the queen who died. Bessie Darrell is not only a rumor. Jane Seymour is not only the quiet contrast. Katherine Howard is not only a warning. Each was a person who woke in the morning, dressed, listened, feared, hoped, misjudged, endured, and moved through rooms where her body and name could be turned into politics without her consent. This is why we remember them gently tonight. Not to turn them into saints, not to flatten them into victims, not to make their world safer than it was, but to notice the complexity that scandal often erases. Now let the names drift before they do. Let each one have one last soft image. Bessie Blount in a dance, the music bright, not yet knowing how her son's birth will echo through the king's conscience. Mary Boleyn in the country, choosing a man without enough rank, perhaps losing the court and gaining a quieter self. Anne Boleyn at a window, sharp-eyed, reading a letter that promises everything and threatens more than it admits. Jane Seymour lowering her eyes in a room where quietness has become more powerful than speech. Katherine Howard laughing too young in a court too old in danger. An unnamed woman returning a gift before dawn. Another keeping one. Another hiding a letter so well that no historian will ever find it. Let Bessie Blount drift through a dance floor and into a quieter marriage. Let Mary Boleyn drift toward the countryside with the man she chose. Let Anne Boleyn drift from rumor into crown, from crown into memory, from memory into the daughter who would one day rule. Let Jane Seymour drift through the pale rooms of expectation. Let Katherine Howard drift, very young, into the sorrowful distance where we do not need to follow too closely. Let Bessie Darrell and the others drift from the margins, no longer erased, but no longer trapped. Let the fans close. Let the jewels be placed in boxes. Let the flowers dry between pages. Let the letters be folded, hidden, burned, or saved. Let the king's footsteps fade down the corridor. Let the queen's chamber grow still. Let the court sleep as much as such a place can sleep. The candles are low now. The tapestries darken at the edges. The great hall is empty. The garden paths are silver under moonlight. The privy chamber doors are shut. The rumor that seemed so urgent at supper has softened into the general murmur of history. Outside, the palace gardens are finally still. The clipped hedges, so useful for private walking by day, become dark shapes beneath the moon. A fountain moves with a sound so gentle it might be mistaken for breathing. The graveled paths hold no footsteps now. The roses are only pale forms in the dark, their scent cooler after midnight. In the stables, horses shift and stamp. In the kitchens, a final servant covers the embers. In the chapel, candles burn lower before sacred images. In the women's rooms, lids close over jewel boxes. In some distant chamber, perhaps the king still wakes. Perhaps not. For once, it does not matter. The story has moved away from it. You are not in danger here. You are only listening. The Tudor court is far away. Folded into books, portraits, fragments of letters, household accounts, and stories repeated until they became legend. The women who moved through it do not need to perform tonight. They do not need to smile correctly, refuse gracefully, accept carefully, or measure every glance. They can rest in the distance, and you can rest too. Let the velvet curtain fall. Let the candle smoke rise. Let the polished floors grow dark. Let the old palace breathe out its secrets, one by one, so softly that they no longer sound like scandal, but like silk moving in sleep. The night is quiet now. The corridor is empty. The last candle goes out. And somewhere, beyond the locked doors and whispered names, history turns over gently and becomes a dream.